Alrighty. Oh, well, thank you. Alright. And now I got an advertisement playing again. Let's see here. Ready, I'll wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else shows up. Otherwise, I'll just continue on with the program. I do see there's one other person in the room, so who's in the room? Say hello. You don't have to if you don't want to. All right. So I'm just go ahead and get started here, and we'll see if people start flowing in or not. So I am Shane. I am part of DnSAdventures. The other part of DnSAdventures is not feeling good today, Deanna. So hopefully she'll be feeling better for the next live stream. But until then, you just got me, unfortunately. So what we're gonna try to do in these live streams, hopefully on a weekly basis. I had to cancel it last week, but hopefully on a weekly basis, on like Friday or Saturday, we'll go live and we'll just have a set topic for the day. We'll try to go over that topic, ask questions throughout the topic to see if you have any suggestions or opinions on that topic. And it's going to be kind of informal, not super formal. I have a little checklist that's stuff I want to go over, but we'll just kind of go however it goes. So today's episode is basically going over our route, or planning how we plan our route, how we decide where we want to go on our different RV adventures. And get my notes up here. Yeah, there's obviously plenty of different ways to pick a destination. This is just kind of how we do it. Everyone's going to have their own way or own reasons to go to wherever they want to go. But these are the reasons and why we go, or how we decide to go where we want to go. Let's see. Yeah, usually for us, it's national parks, state parks, or just something special in the area. Not all the cool hiking locations are necessarily within a state park or national park, but we usually try to get close to an area, but not necessarily right next to the area. So I'll be going over that in a bit here. One of the biggest things for us, since we do full-time RV, is trying to look for an area that has cell signal. And cell signal is a very big one for us because we still kept our full-time jobs hopping into this full-time RV lifestyle. So we have to basically make sure there we're going to has really good cell signal, or the campground has amazing Wi-Fi, which it's usually not amazing Wi-Fi. It's usually depend on the cell signal. So that's kind of one of the very first things we look for. And I'll talk about some apps we use to find the cell signal here in a bit. I did actually make a video on that as well. I can't remember if I put it in the description below, but if not, after this video, I'll go ahead and throw that video in the description below. Hey, Mile High Campers is here. How you doing, sir? And another thing we look for is obviously whether Blazer is allowed or not. It was actually kind of hard. I won't tell you exactly where we are because I don't try to disclose that until after we're gone. But when we were trying to find where we are this time, it was difficult because most of the RV parks actually didn't allow dogs like over 30 pounds, or it was like 55 and older campgrounds. So it was difficult finding an RV park in this area. Blaze is obviously over the 25, 30-pound limit that they had, so he's like 2 or 3 times the size of that. So we couldn't take him there, but yeah, that's kind of a hard one sometimes. Covered in snow. Yeah, yeah, not covered in snow here in Arizona, but I'm sure parts of Arizona might be covered in snow. Let's see here. I use hand motions a lot. I keep on saying that. And size restrictions. Yeah, size restrictions for our RV. That's a big one. Like usually with a 30-foot fifth wheel, we're easily accessible to get into the different RV parks. I think when you get the national parks, it gets a little bit harder when you're over a certain size. unfortunately, we haven't been able to go to most national parks because most national parks are either sold out, like at the very beginning of the year, or we just don't have enough cell signal in those areas. Another good option here, or another thing we consider, is whether or not we need full or partial hookups. Honestly, most of the time, partial hookups is just fine. It's nice having the full hookups, not to have to use our little portable honey wagon thing to move waste, gray water and black water from our RV to the dump station, but it's not that big of a deal, so we can usually put up with that to save a little bit of money. Let's see here. And another big one, obviously, is how affordable the campground is. That depends so much. Even in one little short area, some RV park could try to charge a ton of money for adding a heated swimming pool, and no one actually uses the heated swimming pool. We never use it. We go to all these. We don't go to all of them, but there's some RV parks that we go to with like tons of amenities, and we use their laundry facility, and that's about it. So as long as they have laundry, we're usually good to go. Let's see here. Keep on losing my spot. Deanna's usually good at pointing out where I was, or where I left off. Yeah, here's another one to consider. Whether or not we have a club membership that gets us a discount on the RV park. Good Sam's is a big one. Passport America. Thousand Trails, not so much out west for us. It helped us a lot when we were in Florida, but just trying to find a place we can save a little bit of money is always nice. I also made a video about that, and if I remember about that, I'll also throw that in the description below of how we use those different memberships. Yeah, basically the way we find our campground or RV park is just kind of looking at those national parks or state parks, trying to get within, I don't know, it depends on the RV or the state park or national park, but we try to get in within a certain radius so we don't have to like drive an hour and a half to get there, but we still need to find the cell signal. So we use tools like Compendiums are really nice one if you just want an overall view of all the different campsites in the area and dump stations and everything. Just go to the website, you'll like it. And Google Maps is obviously another one. You can just type in RV park or campground and it pops up a whole bunch of different options for you around there. And All Stays as well. There's an app called All Stays that I use. I'm not sure if they keep it updated anymore, but it's very handy. And I'll talk about the app a little bit further down in our list here. But you can find campgrounds, and you can find like clearance levels for your RV, all sorts of different things. Finding what we want. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything in that section. I guess I forgot to ask my question at the very. I was going to start a category, ask a question, and then by the time I got done with the category, you could have responded. So I'll do that now. Hopefully we have enough time here. How do you usually find out where to go yourselves? Do you, like, is it all premeditated? Like, you know exactly where you're going to go, or do you just kind of wing it and go, let's just go boondock in this sort of area, and that's how you do it? Just interested to hear what your opinions are, or how you go about things. Oh, the dog is twitching in his sleep. And the next little subject here is, or next part of that, sorry, is to try to keep trips down to max like 3 or 4 hours. We usually actually try to drive like 2 hours in between stops. Just there's so much in this country to see, and every 2 hours there's going to be something to look at. Just literally anywhere we've been, it's been the case throughout this country. But we try to not go over 3 to 4 hours max of driving, so we don't spend an entire day driving. We can do something else productive within that day, whether it's going out to explore or just grocery shopping or something if we need to. I don't think I asked that first question soon enough, so I'll just go ahead and ask the second question. But if you do want to say something, go ahead and say it whenever you want. The next question is, what are some things to look out for while traveling? And that's really more specifically while you're RVing. One of the things I kind of have on here is have a destination in mind. How do we get there? And things to look along the route. And a big one is elevation change. Luckily, we haven't gotten to like a 10-foot bridge or something going across or not 10-foot bridge, but 10-foot elevation height of a bridge going across the front of us and we have to turn around or something. We haven't encountered that yet. And that's because we take a lot of precautions. Like I said, that Allstays app is very helpful trying to find elevation along your route. Yeah. And another part of that for low clearance along your route is knowing the height of your RV so you know how much room you actually have to get underneath the, whether it's whatever it is, whatever obstacles in your path, because there could be a rock going across or some sort of bridge that's low, especially in the Northeast, like around New York, Connecticut. There's a lot of bridges that you just don't want to be going down at all. Let's see here. Another thing to consider is how long between the different gas stations. When we were towing our 21-foot travel trailer, we could get a lot more gas or a lot more mileage out of our truck towing that thing rather than our truck towing our fifth wheel right now. We could probably get about 2 or 3 hours of, depending, maybe even more than that, depending on if there's mountain passes and stuff along the way. There are different height and elevation along the way. So yeah, it can vary between vehicles obviously, but just kind of knowing how your vehicle can actually go or how far it can actually go. Like I know for ours, I try to just stop for gas like every hour and a half to 2 hours just to make sure we're topped off in case there is some surprise elevation gain along the route that we're taking, because there's been some not super close calls, but when we go over some mountain passes that we weren't expecting to be there, it can happen if you don't completely do research throughout your entire route. So just trying to be topped off as much as you can with your diesel or gas is always a good choice. And Mile Campers responded here. When it comes to boondocking, we have winged it. Had good success most times, but a few times it bit us. No spot, spent hours searching for a spot, setting up at midnight. Well, sounds like you've had pretty good success then. Yeah, we haven't taken that risk mainly just because of the whole cell signal thing, and I don't know, it's something we're gonna have to try eventually, because that's what we kind of want to get into, more boondocking and dry camping. But yeah, it's a strategy. If you want a place by yourself, that's probably a good way to do it. RV parks are a safer route, but then sometimes you're packed in like sardines. So different style of camping, I guess. Let's see here. I lost my place again. I need to put a little marker in this. Oh, another thing is, can you actually fit in the gas stations with your rig along the route? I always try to do this by looking on like Google Maps satellite view and just taking a trip from wherever we are to that gas station to see, okay, that about that amount of hours of driving we'll probably need to stop and get some gas. So I kind of survey all the gas stations around there, because some of them really just aren't big rig friendly at all. Like maybe if you have a very small camper and you can make some tight maneuvering, but I usually just try to stay the truck stops or just gas stations where the pump is parallel with the road, so you can just kind of pull in there, get your gas, and go right on out. Some of those exist, some of those they just kind of box in. I'm not sure why they do it, but it can be tricky, so just always make sure you're looking out at the gas stations wherever you go to make sure you can actually fit in them. Let's see, and I think I scrolled down too much again. And yet, this next one is, do you prefer interstate or country road driving? For us, interstate's good because it kind of lets people pass us. I don't like to tow like 75 miles per hour down the road, and you got to be careful with that too, because a lot of these RV tires are only rated for so many miles per hour, and some people just don't know that, and they go flying by. So I'm just like, there's no way those tires are rated for going like 80 down the interstate. So just be on the lookout for that and research your own tires to make sure you can do that. But yeah, but country roads are nice if you want to take it slow, but the only bad part about country roads is there might be more obstacles, sharper turns, and a lot of times people might be right on your bumper. Even though if it's a country road and there's no good place to pass, they might be right on your butt with no place to pass you. So another thing to consider on the country road aspect of things. Let's see here. That was another subject. I'm just kind of flying through this one right now. Not even sure how far I've been into this live stream. Only 14 minutes, so this might just be a short one today. So the next question is, what apps do you use? So all of you that are tuned in right now, what kind of apps do you use for anything related to RVing? Some of the big apps we use, like I said earlier, is Google Maps. It's good for picking like your overall route and figuring out where the gas stations are, along with Gas Buddy for that one. All stays, yeah. So all stays, like I said earlier, you can find different campgrounds, find different clearances. You can even find places to boondock on there. Blaze is twitching, so if the camera's shaking, he's shaking it in his sleep right now. Let's see here. Yeah, and the all stays, I forget what I've already mentioned on that, but it has the elevation along the route. So if there's low elevation, I'm not sure how recent the update is on the All Stays app. I don't know if they update it often or if they even update it at all anymore. So I wouldn't just go by that, but All Stays is a good one just to see the general elevation, like for where you can pass under with your RV. They make trucker apps and stuff. We haven't used those yet, but I think we might have to get one eventually, especially if we go back to the Northeast where there's a bunch of low clearances up there. Yeah. So there's also different sites online for elevation change. So if you're heading towards some like mountainous territory, it's not always easy to avoid those areas, but it's good to know how far you're going to go up. And that kind of goes into a story. Just this past year, Deanna and I were driving through Colorado, which Mile High campers, you probably might know this area. It's not the $1 million highway, but it was a road just west of it, pretty much going in parallel. It was Lizard Pass or something like that, but for some reason I did research, like I even pinpointed like this little app online. You can put a point in there, it tells you the elevation of the road. I just go down a little bit further and further and further just to see the kind of the rise going up and down of the road. And somehow I thought it was only going to go up to 8,000 feet, but it ended up actually being over 10,000 feet. And let's just say the truck didn't like that at all. It was gasping for air trying to get over those mountain passes. But it's good to know your elevation that you're going to be going over, just so if you know what your truck is going to handle, or I guess you can experiment and see how it's going to handle, so you can know it's okay to avoid those places in the future. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. My camper says, do they update it with what Walmarts you can stay at? That's the thing. I don't know how often they update the All Stays app. They do have a lot of Walmarts on there, because we actually use that when we're going up to Acadia National Park. We stayed at a Walmart, and we also stayed at a we stayed like some sports store. I can't remember the name of it. This is where Deanna comes in handy to remind me of these things. But we've used it a couple times. It was accurate the times we went there, but I think for Walmarts it's always safe to kind of call beforehand. That's what I usually do, or just walk into the store, and if they say no, or if there's a sign posted, just go to the next Walmart or something. And hopefully that works out. Hopefully that answered that question. Let's see here. So the apps, we mentioned that. The next question for you all is any travel tips that we didn't mention that you would also mention. And here are some of the other tips that we have, or we wrote down here. Need to go somewhere, use satellite or street view to get a preview before you get there if it looks tight. Always easier to have a plan of attack before you get there to reduce the stress. And it can't be any more true than that, because nothing is more painful than seeing your gas needle going to close to E, and you pull into the gas station and like, crap, I'm not going to be able to fit in here. I need to find another gas station, and there might not be one anywhere nearby. So it might be one of those situations where you actually have to unhook the RV, go fill up your truck or something, then go out. I don't know. Depends on your rig, but don't want to be stuck in one of those situations. And the next tip here, if there's an accident and someone directs you off the main road, off the beaten path, it might be easier to turn around and get back on the main road rather than just going off of whatever country road they redirect you on. Because if you are taking like a main country road, there's some sort of accident and they're just trying to route you around that could be a bad situation. We just had our 21-foot travel trailer at the time, but Deanna and I were actually going to visit our friends, stay at my friend's house in Indiana, and it was southern Indiana. And if any of you are familiar with southern Indiana, it's nothing like northern Indiana. It's quite a bit hillier. It's not really flat at all, and they were taking us down these really windy, sharp turn roads, and of course the other side of the accident was rerouted to that same place, so there's like solid line of traffic that has to like do these 90-degree turns. So we were literally like taking turns with trailers to go down the road, having to drive in the middle of the road a little bit to get through. So it could be quite a nightmare. So in that situation, I would have just told the cop, I just need to turn around. I'm not going to even attempt going whatever route you want us to go. Let's see. And another tip we had is stop more times than you think you need to. It helps you relax and also stretch out your legs. Because I know sometimes when I was just driving in a car without towing, I would just drive for like 10 hours straight, maybe having to stop for gas, but without even stopping, stretching my legs. And I don't think it's really worth the stress of doing that unless you really got to get to A really quickly. I think most of the times, for most of us, it's not really that big of a rush. So take your time and stop more often, get more water, keep hydrated, use the restroom while you're getting hydrated. That's a big tip I have, is just enjoying your trip. The next tip was to stay hydrated, and since you are towing an RV with a restroom, with holding tanks, you have a portable restroom. So if you just find some place to pull over, hop in your RV, use the restroom, keep on going. So that's always good too. And always get gas before a mountain pass, because you never know how much gas you eat up while you're towing. And I already stated that earlier, but I'll just state it again because that's a pretty important one, is you don't want to run out of gas going up a mountain. Because I mean, I guess you could turn around and try to use gravity as your benefit, but it's not going to end well. Another tip I have on here, it is okay to be slow. There's going to be impatient people behind you, whether they've towed in the past, they haven't, I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't seem to really understand some of the stress behind towing, and they think you can kind of weave in and out of lanes just like them, but I just ignore them. It makes it so much less stressful. Just let them do their thing and you do your thing. If they give you dirty looks, that's fine. Just ignore them. It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, let's see here. And the very last tip here is enjoy the trip and enjoy the views. Because, I mean, why are you doing RV in the first place? It might be different from person to person, but for us, it's because we're exploring throughout the entire country. We want to see things, so if we go fast through everything, being stressed about the road, we won't actually be able to enjoy the surroundings behind or around us. So we drive slow and enjoy the view and just have a good time. So are there any other tips that you guys have that I didn't mention? Because I think I ran out of tips here. I'm sure there's other tips. I just didn't think of them when I was putting this down here. No more tips? Okay. I'll start wrapping up, but if you guys do have tips, just leave them in the comments section. I'll get right back to them, because I think there is a delay in this live stream a little bit. Let's see here. Oh yeah. If you are catching the replay of this live stream, thank you very much for watching. It is really nice to be able to actually like interact with people like my Mile High campers. Thank you for joining this live stream. It makes it a lot more fun to do when people are joining and communicating back and forth. So Thank you for joining. And if you're watching the replay of this, thank you for watching as well. Hopefully you'll learn something from these tips, or if you have any more tips or something you'd like to add, just add it in the comments section below, and we can make each of these videos kind of a learning experience for all of us. And I'd like to learn from you all too, because I'm sure you have a lot of tips that I just haven't heard of yet. And let's see here. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just got to Suns basketball game, got around. It was fun. Have a great weekend. You too, and go Suns basketball team, whatever their mascot is. Have a good one. All right, guys. Well, I think that is the live stream. So if you did like this, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Goodness, it's a live stream, so I can't edit these things out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like it. You can also check us out on DnSAdventures.com, even though I haven't really kept that as up to date as I'd like. I will be getting back to that soon. And as always, guys, adventure on. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. We do have a video coming out on Tuesday, I believe, of another adventure in the greater Phoenix, Arizona area. So be sure to check that out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. I don't know where the X is, so I'm going to have to get up.